So, I'm pretty sure all of you know about Charlie Kirk's death. And this is going to be one of the few political videos I make. It's definitely going to be a hot button. If you want to see me talk about politics 24/7, you go over to my Twitter. But, so, what I think Charlie Kirk's death is, it's a prime example. It is a outcome of the media calling people like me, a conservative, a Nazi. All right? These weirdos on social media, in real life, celebrities, they don't use Nazi in a metaphorical sense anymore. In fact, they never did. They actually think people like me are a Hitler sympathizer, a Benito Mussolini sympathizer, a Joseph Stalin sympathizer. Well, admittedly, they're all becoming Joseph Stalin sympathizers now because they're a bunch of fucking idiots. They hate freedom. But anyway, so we're going to talk about the latest violent events and why I think it relates to Charlie Kirk. So first we had the trans shooting at the Catholic school. All right. Now, just to be very clear, if you're trans, this is not because of you. This is not because of you. This is because of that man's mental health. And that is also because of the media, the celebrities, Pedro Pascal, Anthony Padilla, all saying, you are awesome if you're trans. More people should be just like you. And it's the evil Christians who just want to worship God. It's the evil right-wingers who say there's only two genders. And if they don't like you, you're a Nazi. All right. If that message gets to the wrong kind of person, he or she is going to end up killing someone. Is going to end up hurting someone. But since people like, I don't know, Jamie Lee Curtis or Charlize Theron live in such an echo chamber, they think nothing's going to happen. So, and then there's the subway murder down in North Carolina. That is a product of, like, the reason why us right-wingers were race baiting that, like, oh, if it was a white person killing a black woman, this would be covered to hell and back. Because it would. These people are all about victimhood. All right, these people are all about racism. Like, not all kinds of racism, classical racism, 30s racism. They're obsessed with that idea. And there's nothing wrong with being obsessed with that idea if you're into the history of it all. All right, when I was a kid, we were taught about Martin Luther King. And as an adult, I'm studying Malcolm X. But next thing you know, a lot of these activists are trying to make it seem like it's still a thing. Whether it be because I don't like a stupid fucking Star Wars movie, a stupid fucking Marvel movie, all this bullshit. And then you, on the other hand, like, again, there were no news coverage about that girl, that Ukrainian refugee. And what's even more hypocritical is that these were people who were having Ukraine flags in their bio many years ago when the war started. Man, I still can't believe the war is still going on. They did not cover it. They did not say, oh, she fled from an oppressive society just to be in the hands of an oppressor, all right? And not to mention, it was just confirmed recently that that guy, okay, I don't want to say 100% his motive was racism. Like, you know some people, they say, yeah, that white girl, that black girl. You know, I don't know. Maybe that's just stuff I'm desensitized to hearing. I don't know. But, sorry, I got a couple of inches. And then, of course, you have people at CNN saying, I don't know why the evil right-wingers are covering this. Victimize, kill people. All right, the murderer was just a poor, innocent soul who just killed because he was so innocent. And yet you wonder why I hate Falcon the Winter Soldier. That's literally the entire message of the show. Let criminals do whatever the fuck they want. If that show was written by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, well, keep in mind, they treat the Flag Smashers as sympathetic, but they would also treat them as actual bad guys. All right, Falcon, being the real Falcon, would fucking beat their asses. all right, he would know what they're doing, the actions they're taking are 100% wrong. So now, okay, now stop talking about pop culture for a second. Let's go on to Charlie Kirk. This is a product of radicalization. All right, radicalization based on people who don't agree with you. All right, I'll share it in a community post, but a television writer who I liked retweeted me, calling me a fascist. All right, he was the writer of Daredevil Season 2. His name is Stephen DeKnight. A YouTuber who I liked when I was a kid called me a dumbass because I called him out saying, shouldn't you be grateful? Because he was one of the people who wanted to blame Trump for the Switch 2 prices because for some reason you decided to throw out that Nintendo always overprices their shit. But since you hate the guy so much, you see it as an opportunity to hate someone. He called me a dumbass, all right? He talked about the egg prices and shit, even though that was during the time they were starting to go down. And we live in a time of hate, all right? Mark Hamill told people like me to go fuck myself. Do I appreciate that coming from Luke Skywalker? No. Dumbass watching this video, do not say, well, I agree with you with this. No, it doesn't matter if you agree with him. All right, if you can be pissed that Dean Cain is joining ICE, then I can be pissed about that. All right. So this was a blatant mental health crisis. And like with all the stuff Charlie Kirk has said about the alphabet community, abortion and all that stuff. Like, I remember, first off, a little off topic, I remember back when Roe v. Wade was closing down back in spring of 2022. I can't believe that was that many years ago now. There was a huge protest in my high school at the traffic lights, or whatever they're called, right by the school, where all the students were holding up signs saying, my body, my choice. And then they were like running back and forth. I don't know, probably want to get run over like a bunch of animals. All right, I criticized them, not in front of their face, but I talked to my mom and my mom's friend that, why are you so concerned about this? I'm not saying it's 100% going to happen. I'll get to that later, but I'm still nervous of saying it, but I'm going to risk it just for this video. I'm not saying that's 100% going to happen, but you're not going to get raped. As long as you stay out of the ghetto, you're not going to get raped and you're not going to get impregnated. And like, I used to think that was a not bad argument to make about abortion. I am against abortion, period. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. You know, you can get mad at me, but just know I love you. I love you for who you are. Like, it wasn't until people were criticizing Natasha Lyonne's comments on 12-year-olds getting abortions, people were calling her out saying, so you think 12-year-olds are actually getting impregnated left and right? And then I used my mind and I'm like, okay, this is not a valid argument anymore. Again, I'm not saying it is 100% unlikely. I do think it is possible. But they really do go to the extremes to justify stuff they don't, stuff they stand for. All right? I'm not saying the right doesn't go that far either, but they really do. But now going on to what I was going to say that I think is risky, but I'm going to do it to this video that I mentioned a few seconds ago. The thing that happened to Charlie Kirk is a rare scenario. All right? And what I mean by rare scenario is I came up with this saying, and I really, really hope this gets put around in like high schools and English classes, you know, anything, and I mean anything, can kill you. All right. This is a dish because I have my dinner in this room. Pretend this is a taco. All right. You decide to swallow it whole because you're so cool. You choke, you die. All right. If you're smart enough, you either take a quick action or you don't do it at all. As for everything else, you know, you might go on a plane. You might be afraid to go on a plane because you're concerned about a crash. It's not 100% not going to happen, but it is possible. Crash and you're stranded on an island, not 100% going to happen, but it is possible. All right, gas leakage in your house, which supposedly killed Gene Hackman, which was false. Not likely, but also possible. Not 100% likely not going to happen, but also not possible at the same time. So, the reason why anything can kill you is because, maybe God has a plan. God has a plan. And for everyone who likes to say, if God exists, why does he allow so many terrible things to happen to his creations? First off, Adam and Eve ate the fruit from the tree. But also because it's no different from stories you hear. All right, you were devastated that Dobby died. It was J.K. Rowling, the creator, who thought of that. All right. You were mad that Bucky was killed off in Marvel Comics for a long time? That was Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. The people behind the scenes. The amazing creatives. All right, you were sad the dog died in Marley and Me? That's whoever made that movie. I still haven't seen it. But you know what I mean. So, all I could say is, if anything is going to kill me, a rattlesnake could come up to me when I'm walking out in the yard outside my house. I could die, unless some miracle happens, I could die and I just accept it. All right. There's so many other ways I want to express it, but again, there's so much on social media that I am so worried to do. But just know, do not fear death. It's gonna happen to you anyway, unless you're the healthiest person in the world. And, if you believe in an afterlife, if you believe in heaven like I do, it's something you can get excited for. If you believe in reincarnation, you could just start life all over again. I always found that idea absurd, but yeah. Don't fear death. That's the moral of this video. All right. But don't be a daredevil in life. All right, Russia, for example, just found a cancer vaccine. And that doesn't mean you can take all the unhealthy lifestyles you have that can cause cancer and then just said, time for me to get the cancer again. It's like the Family Guy joke. Quagmire's got AIDS and needs to take the pills and all the AIDS are gone. No, you should still be responsible with your body. Right here. You should still be responsible. You should not damage yourself under the belief that you're just going to be cured anyway by a fucking jab. It's an amazing accomplishment if that vaccine from Russia actually works. But it is not an accomplishment if you disrespect the people who died just for us to find a cure. So basically, there's so many people who've died young, whether it be because, again, I'm trying to say don't fear death. Don't go outside fearing all the time. Yes, it is possible that some asshole could stab your ass and you're dead. It is possible. You do something wrong and the cop accidentally kills you. It is possible you might accidentally fall under a bridge. But don't fucking worry. Don't make that your main concern in life. What happened to Charlie Kirk was a once-in-a-while situation. Don't go out in life fearing that it's 100% going to happen to you, but also do not say that you're 100% safe. It's life. But, anyway, so what do I think is the solution to this problem? Well, the solution is mental asylums. I've heard Trump is talking about bringing those back, mental asylums. And we really do need those. You want to know why? Because there are so many people. All right, I'm going to go to the nothing burgers compared to murder. All right. There are people on Twitter who identify as he, she, they, or non-binary lesbian. Anyone with a brain would know that that last one does not make any sense at all. And that is championed by the media. that is loved by the media, that is loved by all the celebrities and YouTubers, and if you call it out, there was a time when I called that shit out, people like me would be banned. All fucking over. Sorry, I think I must have been a crumb on my phone. But anyway, I thought something was on my arm. And it got to a point where that was trying to get normalized in society. All right, I don't think there should be separate bathrooms made for a delusion. I don't think we should allow people who say they are a woman to be allowed in women's sports. All right. Just fucking... Like, people need help. People need help, and that's why they kill people. That's why there's people who kill themselves. That's why there's people who kill others. It could be possible that the people I'm about to mention tried to get help, but we've lost so many people because their minds were fucked up. All right. Etika, Steve Cash, Jason David Frank, I miss all those people. But they died. They died from their own hands. All because they couldn't get the help to overcome what they had. All because they are never given the courage to get the treatment that they can have. As for the murderers, man, getting rid of guns is not going to solve the problem. We already know that from the UK. People are going to use knives. I know fucking Idris Elba, that stupid retard, said, we need to start knife control now. I think he's the only person I ever heard say that. And then next thing you know, people are going to start using rocks. People are going to murder regardless. There are going to be black markets selling guns and knives. All right. Do not go to school fearing 24/7 that a mentally ill classmate of yours is going to go there and kill you. But also, given modern day, take into consideration that that is a possibility, but don't let that consume you. And yes, we live in a time where mental health is championed. All right, that dude who killed the Ukrainian girl in North Carolina clearly had a mental disorder, but he was let go 14 times by a judge so empathetic because Black Lives Matter and shit. It just pisses me off that we don't know how to take care of our own citizens. Instead, there are people out there who think we should just let people go all because the color of their skin. It's fucking weird that I follow Martin Luther King's ideology, but the people who claim that they do to him, they don't. And it also fucking makes it pathetic that there's people within politics, mostly Democrats, who think the best way to end violence is to baby us. All right, censor our speech, get rid of guns, treat us like little kids. And to quote the Joker, who is a perfect example of why we need asylums back. All right, to quote Arthur Fleck, you think we'll just sit there and take it like good little boys? That's not how life works, okay? Man. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Rest in peace. Admittedly, I didn't consume him as much as I did, say, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Candace Owens. I don't really like a lot of those people anymore. Candace Owens is an anti-Semite. Matt Walsh is the stereotypical, hey, you're an adult now. You should not like anything fun. All right, you should just be miserable and pay taxes the rest of your life. Ben Shapiro kind of became a crybaby, especially with, the Brett Cooper scandal. I'm just going to move on to something else. That's the thing. Talk to you all later.